Hey everybody, we got a bunch of new Legendary Annihilation info today, including a blog post and some cards that were shown off on Upper Deck stream. So let me get started. First things first, there is some bad news. Annihilation is being delayed to August, so it's not going to be released until August, but that's the end of the bad news. The good news is we have a ton of new cards to look at, so let's take a look at what we found out in blog post number 2. First, we have the return of the Conqueror keyword from Marvel Studios Phase 1 and Heroes of Asgard, and along with Conqueror, we see our first look at Firelord from Heralds of Galactus and our second look at Stardust from Heralds of Galactus. And we got a refresher on Conqueror. Some heroes say things like Bridge Conqueror 2, this means this gets +2 attack while any villain is on the bridge. This hero gets the bonus while there is a villain on the bridge. Different heroes have different Conqueror abilities with different bonus numbers and referring to different city spaces. Some cards also have abilities like Rooftops Conqueror 4, which likewise means you get +4 attack if any villain is on the rooftops. Now let's take a closer look at this new Firelord card. This is the other common card of the Heralds of Galactus hero group along with Silver Surfer. It is a blue ranged card with 2+ attack and cost 3 to recruit. It reads, this turn, your hero's Conqueror abilities also give you attack if those city spaces have been destroyed. And then a ranged superpower, Bridge Conqueror 2. Some flavor text, a former Nova Centurion, Pyreus Krill has really burned his bridges. So that's cool. So if the Galactus Mastermind or the weaponized Galactus villain card destroys a city space, you can still get Conqueror using Firelord. Interesting concept. This could end up with a permanent Conqueror effect on these locations because you can't restore a city space once it's been destroyed, so this will be fun to take advantage of. And then we've seen this Stardust card already. It has a focus ability, Rooftops Conqueror 4, and then focus 11 to find the Galactus Hungers card, which I think we're going to find out about in blog post 3. Now it's finally time to find out what in the world Momentum is. Along with Momentum, we see our first look at the Queens of Annihilation, a villain from the Annihilation Wave villain group, and our second look at Annihilus the Mastermind. The blog reads that the Annihilation Wave is a fast-moving invasion force. While pushing forward, they feed on the resources of new territory, becoming more powerful. This is represented by the new Momentum keyword. Some villains say things like Momentum 3. This means this villain gets +3 attack if it entered another city space this turn. This works on the turn the villain enters the city. It also works on any other turn when it is pushed into another city space by another villain or by a special ability moving or swapping it to another space. The Mastermind Annihilus has the variant Mass Momentum 2. This means he gets +2 attack for each villain currently in the city that entered a new city space this turn. For both Momentum and Mass Momentum, it doesn't matter how many different city spaces a villain entered during a turn, it only matters if it entered any new city spaces at all. A very interesting and unique way to gain attack. I'm really excited for this keyword. I'm glad we finally know what it does. Speaking of Momentum 3, let's take a closer look at Queens of Annihilation. They do have Momentum 3, which means they get +3 attack if they move to another city space this turn, with an ambush effect. Reveal the top card of the villain deck. If it's a villain, play it, which could cause them to move, which could cause the Momentum 3, and then fight, KO one of your heroes. Also some flavor text here. Erratica, Extermina, and Extirpia each lead a third of the Annihilation Wave as the royal consorts of Annihilus. I love this card, I love the art, I love the momentum effect, and I can't wait to see how it works with Annihilus. We've seen him already, but let's take a look again, considering what we know now about Mass Momentum. And again, Mass Momentum 2 means he'll get +2 for each villain that moved in the city this turn, and his Master Strike effect, if it reveals a villain, the villain enters the city, captures a bystander, and moves forward an extra space. So, this could move villains, it could reveal a Queens of Annihilation, which could cause an ambush effect, so Annihilus could get easily 10 more attack on any given turn if all 5 villains move through the city, which is terrifying, but really fun to play against, I assume. Keep in mind that if a Queens of Annihilation enters the city, it first moves forward an extra space before it ambushes, so that second villain reveal may not push things forward further, but it could fill up the city. And that's it for Momentum, not to mention that weaponized Galactus card that we saw before has Momentum 9, which means if he moves, he gets +9 attack in the city, which is also terrifying. And that's it for blog post number 2. However, on Upper Deck stream today, we did get to see several new Brainstorm and Cylord cards, which I will show to you right now. All of these cards are Fantastic Four affiliated, by the way. This first one is Cylord's second common, Avert Future Tragedy. It is an instinct card with 2 recruit, 0+ attack, and cost 3. It has the ability Focus 2 Recruit. Reveal the top card of the villain deck. If it's a Master Strike, you get +3 attack, KO it, and replace it with the top card from the bystander stack. And then he also has an instinct superpower, Man Out of Time. So I believe this is only the third card that is able to KO Master Strikes after Speedball and Happy Hogan. So a really cool way to do that. He already lets you rescue a bystander to swap one more in with his other common card, but this one actually gets rid of bad things, which is awesome. And then on top of that, you've got Man Out of Time, which means you can use him again at the beginning of your next turn and do it all over again. So you might get 2 turns in a row to get rid of some of those Master Strikes. Very cool. Now that we've seen his commons, let's look at his uncommon card. We've got Slip the Time Stream, a covert card, 3 recruit, 0+ attack, and then cost of 6. Focus 1 recruit, reveal the top card of the villain deck. If it's a villain, you get +1 attack, and you may fight it this turn, and then an instinct covert superpower, Man Out of Time. Continuing on with the villain deck manipulation, and this card specifically seems like a perfect way to counter Annihilus. If you can fight the top card of the villain deck, you can avoid any of those momentum or ambush effects from it coming into the city. The downside, of course, is that you will make the game a little shorter because you're running out of cards in the villain deck. However, this is a good way to avoid the worst of them. For example, imagine if you uncover Weaponized Galactus this way, and you can take him out before he gets his +9 and moves to the bridge. That would be a great strategy to deal with him. And now let's take a look at Cylord's rare. This is the best quality I could get it, so I apologize. It is Reshape Reality, an instinct card, 3 recruit and 3+ attack, and it costs 7 to recruit. It has the ability Focus 3 recruit, reveal the top card of the villain deck. If it's a Scheme Twist, you get +4 attack and shuffle the villain deck, and then Fantastic Four superpower, Man Out of Time. I love having rares that have Man Out of Time, even though this one seems tricky to use, but if you're using Annihilation, shouldn't be too tough with all the Fantastic Four cards that we've got. So this one doesn't allow you to KO the Scheme Twist, but you do shuffle them in and avoid them. And if you're down to a scheme where there's a lot of Scheme Twists, but only Scheme Twists are left, you can pretty much get +4 attack every turn, and that's 7 attack each turn with your 3 recruit for focusing him and other cards. So every single one of Psi-Lord's cards messes with the villain deck in some way. This will work great with other cards that can investigate the villain deck. And with all these schemes that are on a timer, so it says Scheme Twist 8, Evil wins, this is a great card to counter that, or at least delay the evil winning a little longer, giving you that edge you need to win. Now on to Franklin's sister Valeria with Brainstorm's second common card. Borrow from the Future, a ranged card with an attack of 1 and a cost of 3. It reads, reveal the top card of your deck. If it costs 2 or more, draw it, otherwise discard it or put it back, and then Ranged Woman Out of Time. Seemingly following kind of what Gambit does, she can put 1 card on top of the deck with her first common, and then draw that card again if it costs 2 or more with her second common. And at the very least, she can help you by discarding a card you don't want, like a Wound or a 0-cost gray card. And she's also got Woman Out of Time just like Franklin. Is she going to have Woman Out of Time on all her cards? Now it's time for Brainstorm's uncommon card, Reprogram Doombot Legions. Okay, this one does not have Woman Out of Time, so not all of her cards have it. It is a tech card with 3 attack and cost of 6, a superpower, Fantastic Four. You may look at the top 2 cards of your deck. If you do, KO one of them and put the other one back. Now this is getting interesting because other cards you have to use a rare card to look at multiple cards from the top of your deck and KO one, but this is only her uncommon, and all it takes is another Fantastic Four card, which you could do with her entire hero set, not to mention the other cards from the Annihilation set, and KOing cards is a great way to make your deck work more efficiently, so I'm really happy to see this effect. The only downside is if you look at them, you do have to KO one of them. So if you reveal 2 cards that you don't want to KO, you're out of luck. You're going to have to do it. And last but definitely not least, we have a really cool rare card with a first for Legendary, I believe. This is Protege of Dr. Doom. It is a tech card with 4+ attack, and it costs 8. Here's what it reads. Use one of Dr. Doom's Mastermind tactics. You can't use any of them more than once per game. If you have already used them all, get +4 attack instead. And then the helper text at the bottom just tells you what Dr. Doom's 4 tactics do. Take another turn, or draw 3 extra cards at the end of your turn, or you may recruit a tech or ranged hero for free, or all other players draw a card or discard a card. I assume they were able to do this because Dr. Doom is in the core set, and everybody has to have the core set in order to play the other expansions. Now because you can't use a tactics more than once, that does get rid of a little bit of the versatility. However, it's still pretty cool how you can choose what you want to do from time to time, and even if you're lucky enough to recruit this rare, you may not be able to use it that often. So it's still a very powerful, versatile, and unique card. I can't wait to use this. What a great hero set for both of them. And that's it for this huge drop of Annihilation info today. I know we're going to have to wait for August, but next week we'll get blog post 3, where we're going to find out about Galactus Hungers, and fingers crossed, I hope we're going to find out about who our 5th hero is. I'm really hoping for Dr. Doom. Again, subscribe to this channel for updates when there are any, and I will see you next time. Take care, everyone.